is happening everywhere. Example, every industry is being disrupted. If you see retail, it was Walmart and now it's Amazon. If it is transport, we would, when you get down at an airport, you would drive in a Hertz car. Now you book an Uber. If you want to stay in a hotel, previously we would go and stay in a Hilton. Now we do an Airbnb. And all this new changes, Amazon, e-commerce, Airbnb and mobile app, Uber and mobile app, right? Every industry is being disrupted with technology. Every job is changing. Let it be an automotive engineer, a computer engineer, a design researcher. Everyone feels today that whatever college degree I passed out with and whatever I'm working today, right, in next couple of years, my skills are going to be redundant, right? Am I still secure with my job? Question mark, right? Because the jobs are changing very fast because of the change in the skill metrics. As per the LinkedIn research, in next 10 years, 65% of the skills will be new. They don't exist today. Like 10 years ago, we were not knowing there'll be a driverless car, there'll be machine learning, there'll be data science, but today we see all of them. IBM CEO Ginny Rometty has coined a term called as new collar jobs. So there'll be no blue collar or white collar jobs in the future. It will be a new collar job. Soon we'll only be as good as the skills we possess. We are all living in a world of skill economy. Skill has become the new currency in the digital age. In a recent Deloitte survey, this is what large company executives said. 39% of them said they were either barely able or unable to find the talent they need. According to Gartner, artificial intelligence will create more jobs than it eliminates. They predict 2.3 million jobs will be created by 2020 versus 1.8 million jobs lost. So there are new technologies coming in. They are going to create new and new jobs. There are old jobs which are going to get lost. So what is going to happen with those employees or those people who are working in today's jobs, right? The problem everyone's facing is skills are changing fast, and every organization has a big problem. Predicting skill fitness of a candidate is the key to stay relevant for every organization. If you're not able to predict the skill fitness of a candidate, of your employee, if you're not able to upskill your employees, right, it's going to be difficult for you to stay relevant for every organization. When this problem is there, one obvious solution which comes to everyone's mind is let's hire new talent. It's so easy, right? Uh, there are so many people are having in my company who are not upskilled, who are with the new skills. So let me go and hire new talent. But hiring new talent is not the only solution to this problem. Couple of reasons. One, you will not get new skills in the market very easily. There's a scarcity of people over there with the new skills. Second, what are you going to do with the current employees? Here, I present one of the strategies which every organization needs to adopt today is upskilling. Let's see what a McKinsey survey says. There's a recent survey done for 100 plus executives from top 100 companies in the world. And every executive says increasingly see investing in retaining and upskilling existing workers as an urgent business priority. So this is an urgent business priority for almost each and every company. And companies are going to invest in upskilling employees. When we think about upskilling, or every company, HR department or learning and development department, whenever they think about upskilling today, they start thinking about different tools to be implemented.
Sujit, sorry, before you go ahead, just a quick question from Oliver. He's asking, how is upskilling different from reskilling?
So let's go to the dictionary definition of it. So as per the dictionary, reskilling, where you're actually skilling a person who is totally unskilled. So an upskilling is where somebody is skilled in a particular thing and you're taking him to the next level. So example, when it comes to, let's say, uh, a, one of your employees is good in Java 6 and he wants to learn Java 8, that is upskilling. At the same time, your employee is knowing Java 6 and he wants to get into artificial intelligence, machine learning. Those are all again programming and computer related things. So that is also an upskilling. Reskilling means somebody who doesn't know anything in technology and you're skilling him on that particular aspect. So I would say uh, organizations are facing problem of upskilling because they already have employees who knows few technologies and they want to upgrade themselves to the new technologies. That's the basic difference between upskilling and reskilling. I hope so I answered the question.
Yes, yes, makes complete sense.
So whenever an upskilling program is planned in an organization, every L&D managers or L&D teams or HR departments try to get different tools in place, a learning management system, working with the training companies like Linda and Udemy's of the world, working with assessment company like CEB and SHL. The basic gap in this solutions today is they don't have skills assessment. They have like CEB and SHL will offer assessments on psychometric, right? Linda and Udemy would offer training packages or training videos. A learning management system will provide you a workflow. But to measure the effectiveness of any upskilling program, you need to have skill assessment. And that is a gap in the market today. So we at Interview Mocha did a lot of research after talking to a lot of companies and came up with an innovative way of upskilling. Let's understand what is this innovative way of upskilling. So the traditional way for judging an employee or planning his career in the company was degree focused. We are moving from that to skill focused. It was more of transaction focused. Any upskilling program, we are saying make it people focused. The systems were automating HR data and processes. We are saying focus on skill-based people development. There were application and data silos. We are talking about integrated people and work solutions. The decisions about a particular employee was made on historical and intuition-based decisions. We are talking about getting agility and real-time skill metrics. People were gauged on their job experience. We are telling gauge people on skill proficiency. So the innovative way is more focused on the skill a person possesses. And that's the future.
Sujit, could you elaborate a little bit on the difference between degree focused and skill focused?
So there's a trend going in the market. So when I talk to a couple of companies and their HR departments, uh, previously they would say we would kind of promote a person, or we would the appraisals were based on their current experience and the degrees they have, like is he having a undergrad education or is a post graduation, on those basis. Today they think those degrees are valuable, but once you're into a job like 4 5 years 10 years, your education is a past, right? What is current is what skills you have acquired and what skills are you going to acquire in future. So rather than focusing on the college degrees, the current focus the companies are putting in on the skill. Are you skilled today? Are you able to upgrade your skills, upskill yourself? So that's the difference between degree focus and a skill focus.
All right, and there is a follow-up question to that. Laura is asking, what's transaction focused versus people focused?
So when we say a transaction focus, it is mainly seeing what transactions are done in an organization in terms of, let's say, uh, previously it would be a company coming and saying, uh, hey, this is our roadmap for the next 5 years. And for this roadmap of an organization, these are the skills which our sales team or the business development team is selling. This is something happening in the market. And since you have learned Java, you need to upgrade yourself to the next Java version. Very transactional. It was all based on my historical data and the transactions what I have done. Now we are saying rather than doing that, can it be people focused? Maybe I'm good in Java today, but Java was never my first choice. I just started my career with that 7 years ago. Uh, but I've always been an amazing person when it comes to data. I can study voluminous data at any given moment of time and come up with amazing patterns. That's my maybe an hobby. So if as a person, my aspiration is to become, I'm good with data, then I would like to focus on as a data scientist rather than upgrading myself to the next version of Java. So for moving from transaction focus to people focus.
All right, makes sense. And I think one last question on this slide is: do you think upskilling? Amit asks this: Do you think upskilling is needed only for tech skills, or do you think soft skills also need upskilling?
I would say soft skills also need upskilling, but the big challenge with soft skills is, and that's what I'm going to cover next. When you implement a successful upskilling program, you have to be agile enough, and you have to run the upskilling program in sprints. And the sprints we recommend is of 2 weeks. And I think nobody can improve his soft skills in 2 weeks. It's a year-long process,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Upskilling is majorly focused, it should be majorly focused on the hard skills, tech skills. uh, Focusing on soft skills would be a little bit challenging. It can be done, but I would say in today's webinar, I'm focusing mainly on the hard skills.
All right, all right. Okay, let's move on.
So today we are going to cover three key elements of upskilling program. As I said during the start, there are a lot of people who talk in the webinar or on the blogs about why and what of upskilling, and very few people talk about the how part. I'm going to cover the how part from here. And one of the most important things is we have come up with a framework saying that there are three key elements of upskilling program, and if these three key elements are implemented properly, we can our study says your upskilling program would be a major success. So those three elements are: create a skill meter for an organization, have a rock solid upskilling plan, and measure ROI on a weekly and a monthly basis. So let's see how we can do that. Wouldn't you be happy if you have a skill meter for an organization? Let's say there's a skill meter which automatically moves from proficient to master once every month or quarter when your upskilling programs is implemented successfully, and from master it moves to expert, right? So how to achieve the skill meter? The first step in achieving the skill meter is creating a skill mapping. So you need to have your manpower distribution in place, identify key job roles for your manpower distribution, identify skills for those job roles, identify key areas for each skill where you need to upgrade the employees, upskill the employees, and identify the next generation skills as per your in organization vision. You should have your entire skill metrics in place or skill mapped with your current people and with your future growth. This is step number one. The step number two is skill assessments. So you need to have skills for each job and each skill you have identified. The reason is now with the skill mapping, you have your organization skill mapping data, but if you have to, unless and until you quantify the skills, you cannot create a skill meter. So the skill meter can be created for current jobs, next generation skills, a nomination for new skills, cross skills, pre-training assessment, post-training assessment. And if this assessment are done for your current skills, for the future skills at regular intervals, after a learning is done, maybe 1 month after the learning, 3 months after the learning, depending upon how the program is there, you can get output as a skill meter analytics, which shows you the current skill readiness, future skill readiness of the organization, training need identification, nomination for new skills, employee skill aspirations, and you will get a skill meter at an individual, project team, business unit, and organization level, which we are going to see next. Here, one of the most important thing, the employee skill aspiration. If you understand your employee skill aspirations, as I gave an example of a person, an employee moving from Java to data science engineer, rather than moving from Java 6 to Java 8, that is very important. And the reason for that is uh, it's a pull versus a push. If you ask an employee his aspiration, there's a pull mechanism, versus you telling him what to do, that's a push. If there's a push mechanism, you'll find a resistance at a ground level. If there's a pull mechanism, it finds you will find a smooth execution.
So, Sujit, if I understand this correctly, I think this also ties up with what Laura was asking. I beg your pardon. So, Laura said, what's the difference between people focused and transaction focused? So, I think this is one of the answers, right? Because we are keeping the employees at the center, and we are devising a program which caters to their needs and desires.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're right, Pranav.
Yep.
So let's see an individual skill report, which you should always have. Let's say a person named Ryan, and while he is been assessed on different skills like data structure, business analyst, .NET, SQL, and Java, you get to see that he's pretty good in .NET, and he's not that good in as a business analyst, analysis, and SQL. So the system recommends on which skill he should upgrade himself, or we should upskill himself. This is for his current skill. Similarly, if Ryan has appeared for some skill assessment, which are the next gen skills, you'll get to see, hey, he's actually good in R and Python. Maybe he's already enrolled for a free courseware on Coursera, and he's upskilling himself on his own. So maybe he is the right candidate, which can be moved on to the next learning category of R and Python. Similarly, at a project team, you can see Lisa, Jill, Ryan, Sam, and Jack. These are the team members for a project A. How is their skill proficiency? And we say Ryan is the most proficient, skill proficient person, and Jill and Sam, they need to upskill in particular areas. Let's say this is for a skill named Java. So Jill and Sam needs to upskill them in Java. But Ryan, Lisa, and Jack are good. Similarly, at a project team, you can see if your project has a need for any next-gen skills or new skills, where are you with those skills with your current employees? At a business unit level, if I have a different business unit and their projects A, B, C, D, E, I can see that the project B and D, the employees are not skilled, and project C, the employees are highly skilled. As a L&D manager, I can definitely go and talk to the business unit head and see if the people or the employees in C, what is the achievement? Is the customer satisfaction score very high? Are they really doing well? Are the project deliveries very smooth? And versus B and D, the project deliveries are not going that well. Similarly, you can have for the future skills, what is the current skill matrix? And what are the current proficiency levels? So this is, we covered about the skill meter and how to create a skill meter for the organization. And we recommend that as an L&D manager, you should have a skill meter, because else it would be difficult for you to measure the ROI of your upskilling program. Let's move on to the second point, that is the upskilling plan. So to create a good upskilling plan, there are 4 pillars. Basically, the learning ecosystem, skill assessment, learning and development, partnership, and collaboration. When it comes to the learning ecosystem, there are a few things which you have to implement. One is make the learning very immersive and experiential learning. What does immersive mean? It means like if somebody is working on a particular skill to be upskilled, make sure he's allocated a project or a work on that skill in next 3 months to 6 months. If you don't do that, then there's somebody is going to learn something, he's not going to apply it, the ROI of the program is going to be 0. Also, when these programs of upskilling are executed, make sure for every skill there's a champion who has already executed a project in that particular skill, and that project is doing well. he should be kind of doing a webinar in the organization. He should be a go-to person as a champion. If I want to learn Python or machine learning, hey, I know this person, he has done a project successfully, I can always ask the questions to him. If he's taking a session, I get to know what are the challenges which come and how to tackle them. Make sure you have anytime anywhere learning. There's learning, don't only restrict to classroom learning. There should be videos, there should be mobile learning, learning available on the tablet, so people can do it while they're traveling, while they are at home, while they're at office. uh, Make sure you have skill assessment for every job role. Develop the skill assessment and have an organization skill meter, which we saw in the previous slides. As a learning and development team, they should focus on research for emerging technologies, incubation of new skills, and curriculum design and training. You should have partnership and collaboration with your customers. What are the new technologies they want to invest in? You should know that well in advance. Collaborate with the content provider like Udemy, Coursera, and also with the ISVs and product companies like Amazon Web Services, Microsoft, IBM. You need to have these 4 pillars in place before you implement a good upskilling program. The next is we recommend to do an agile upskilling. What does an agile upskilling mean? If you see on the left hand side, they're the profile skills. Let's say somebody is very good in networking and database administration, and on the right hand side, he's a cloud DevOps engineer. When we say agile, we recommend to run sprints of 2 to 4 weeks. Don't have upskilling programs which run into months, like 3 months and 6 months. Maximum it should be 4 weeks. We recommend a small bites of 2 weeks. Those are the sprints. And get agility in your training program and measure the ROI through the skill meter at every stage with the right skill assessments. Any question on the agile upskilling? If anybody want more details on the agility of the upskilling program?
Yeah, so Sujit, Rachel is asking, like, what is the thinking behind? I think it's a two-part question. The first part is, what is the thinking behind keeping the duration as small as 2 to 4 weeks? And the follow-up to that is, what if there was what if there is a skill that needs a lot of time to be learned? How do you manage to roll out a program in just 4 weeks for that?
So I would recommend with answering the first question, why it should be 2 weeks? Because if it is more than 2 weeks, you will find the euphoria or the energy is going down with time. So we recommend it to keep it 2 weeks, very short, intense, as I said, immersive, and having the upskilling training, recommended trainings done, skill assessments done, and having the reports generated. Okay, to keep the energy levels very high. You will see because we are also working with a lot of millennials today. They don't have that time frame of 3 to 6 months to stay invested in a training program, so it should be short 2 weeks. That gets a lot of agility into the entire upskilling program. Second thing, if you have a larger training programs running for 2 months, which you think has to be, then I would say still cut that down to a logical chunks of 2 weeks, kind of sprints. If you see into software development, companies are very successful once they've started implementing the sprint planning and the agility model. In the past, there was a waterfall model. So there's a transition from waterfall to agile model, and we recommend the same thing in the upskilling program as well.
All right. So Laura is asking, devoting full time. So basically, is it a wise decision to devote all working hours to learning a new skill? Which I thought is an interesting question.
I would say sometimes it may be to devote your time, so that there's a tremendous dedication. Because if you're not giving a dedicated time, your mind share is not going to be there for the new skills, and you're not going to learn effectively. So we are running short of time. So Pranav, let's move on with the next slide.
Yes, yes.
Okay, yeah. Fine. The third most important thing is you're going to measure the ROI. And there's a pretty successful model which many of you must be knowing, called as Kirkpatrick model for training effectiveness. It has 4 levels. The first level is a reaction, where the moment the training is done, get a feedback on the content, the instructor, and what did you learn. You capture that at 1 level. Then there is a learning, how effectively the learner obtained the information from the course. Have assessment at end of 1 month, 2 months, and 3 months to check whether that learning is still there or has it dipped after 2 weeks. Third is the behavior. To track the behavior of a particular employee, have 360-degree feedback from his teams to see his day-to-day behavior and is he working more efficiently on a particular skill. And the last one is the results, which the business unit heads or the L&D teams have to work with the BU business units to find out the business impact. Have you better CSAT scores, customer satisfaction score? Are the projects getting executed more efficiently now? So once you have this particular thing in place, you'll be able to calculate the exact ROI. And this can be done with a good tool in place. I'm more of an integrated feedback and assessment tool in place. This is simple, one of the simple calculations to calculate the ROI, where it's a net program benefits divided by the program costs. So the net program benefits can be, what is the benefit? Let's say because of the upskilling, my project got an additional work of $230,000. My upskilling project cost was $88,000. So you 230 minus 88K divided by 88,500 give you the ROI, which is almost 161% over year. So you can find out the exact ROI to present it to your top management as an upskilling program. This is basically calculated for 25 participants. It may vary from organization to organization. And there are few things which on the left-hand side which you need to do to calculate the program cost or of the upskilling program. These are some best practices which we have already covered during the webinar for last 30 minutes. Basically define the skills you need and when you need them. Be agile, define your skill matrix and need it at the end of every quarter. Make upskilling and win-win for people and organization. Enable leaders to communicate effectively. Offer mentors to support upskilling. Have a champion for every upskilling program which you're going to run. Use e-learning and assessment platforms, and measure the impact of the upskilling program. Measure the ROI at every given moment of time.
All right. Thank you, Sujit. I know we are short on time, but I just have to take this question. Is by Ashish, who asks, how can we implement the upskilling program today? And I think what he's trying to ask is, if you had to leave us with one actionable, that we could do today or tomorrow, just to get the ball rolling, just to get the whole process started, because there is absolutely no doubt in everyone's mind that it is much needed. But how do we start? Where do we start?
Oh, that's a very good question. So I would say the best thing to start an upskilling program is make it employee focused. Okay, go and talk to your employees. Just do a survey and ask your employees, hey, these are the 50 skills which our organization needs over the next 3 years. Which are the skills you would like to nominate yourself, and see what your employees are saying. Do they want to upgrade current from Java 6 to Java 8? Do they want to get into machine learning, and find out the reasons behind it? If you're able to get that upskilling trend or that rhythm at a ground level with the employees, that's the best thing I would say you should do it today.
All right, I think that's a great answer to end. Focus on your employees.
Focus on your employees.
Yes, that's a really good takeaway. All right, so thank you so much, Sujit. I think for our future webinars, we do need to maybe keep them a little longer because of, there was a lot of interaction today, which is so heartening to see. But I personally, got to learn a few things, and I hope that everyone else also, I think, got to learn a couple of things from you today. And so I just want to thank you. And again, thank you for all the participants for the interaction and for the very, very intelligent questions as well. And we hope to see you soon again for our next webinar.
Thank you, Pranu. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye. Take care. Thanks. Thank you, Laura. Thanks, guys. Thanks. Bye.